Okay, Paul, so we're going to make one of the chocolates for a Christmas advent calendar, Notting Hill advent calendar. Which one are you going to go for?
So we're going to go with the Hōjicha Tea Praline.
That sounds interesting.
So Hōjicha is a type of Japanese green tea, but it's gone through a slightly different process to most other green teas. So when people think of green teas, they think of matcha.
Can we just hang on a second? So green tea or matcha is essentially the tea plant. It's the same plant. It's Camellia sinensis, which is the Chinese camellia. And all they do is they process it differently. And we're using a green tea that's made at a high altitude and is organic, and it's made by the same family year after year. And they kind of try and keep all the lovely flavonols in the tea. And it's super healthy.
Yeah, particularly. So the big thing, particularly with the matcha powders and all the different types of green tea powders, is because you've ground down those leaves. The leaves have been steamed and then stone ground like that.
Stone ground like this. And you get this wonderful color. And this is how the tea is ground in Japan. And you get this beautiful green. And this is, of course, what we're going to use in the chocolate. But you're telling me that this goes through another process.
Well, actually, it goes through a slightly different process before we get here. Because when we get here with green tea, leaves have been steamed.
Right.
But for Hōjicha, instead of steaming it, actually roast it in a porcelain pot over charcoal. So instead of getting this vibrant green color, we have more of this almost nut brown kind of color.
Right. Wow. So it's a completely different process that brings out a nutty flavor. And of course, we're going to mix it with caramelized chocolate. So we've got a combination of kind of a lot of really caramelized, nutty flavors coming out.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. I must say, I've never heard of green tea going brown, Paul. What the hell's going on?
Well, like everything in the world, there's always a slightly different way of doing it. It just provides us with a really enjoyable flavor notes.
Yeah, so everybody's crazy about matcha. This is next level matcha, isn't it? This is the next level.
Yeah. Some people find matcha too strong.
Yeah.
They find that sort of, particularly sometimes people find, let's be honest, they find the color a little bit off-putting.
Yeah.
But if you've got this lovely golden brown color, you use that for your matcha teas or matcha lattes or anything like that, it might be something that you find that you enjoy just as much, and you get almost the same benefits.
So we're going to caramelize the matcha, and we're going to caramelize the chocolate, and we're going to see if we just blow our heads off with that. Okay, let's get going.
Let's get into it. So here we have all the essential ingredients for making our HōjichaPraline. We've got that golden chocolate, that nutty roasted type chocolate. We've got a little bit of extra cocoa butter in there, which is why it looks so runny at the moment. We've got some lovely smooth praline. We're using this praline as the vehicle for carrying all those flavors in there without overpowering it. Then we have the star of the show. We've got the Hōjicha tea powder.
Perfect.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our chocolate and cocoa butter mix and we're gonna mix it all in with the praline. Of course, don't want to leave anything behind.
Okay.
And then we give this a nice good mix. Now the thing as well is with this, is we don't wanna mix the tea powder in when it's too warm.
Right.
If you mix it in when it's too warm, you'll actually really start to affect the flavor. So that's why we mix everything else together, bring it down to that lovely sort of just above room temperature.
I think we're going to have to taste a little bit of this as we go, don't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. And the praline,
So this is the chocolate and praline. Let's just make sure we've got a good flavor here.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens when we give it that little bit of elevation.
Okay, so we've already got quite a nutty flavor in that. And now we're kind of turbocharging that with some camellia. We're putting a flour, a roasted flour in.
Well, I mean, it's the leaves of the flower that have been roasted, really, isn't it? But you know, it all grows around the same area.
We've got the description, the roasted green tea Hōjicha, and we've got a little Japanese saying as well. It's not what we have, but what we enjoy that constitutes our abundance. And we're going to enjoy the abundance of Hōjicha and green tea. I'm looking forward to tasting this.
There we go.
We have such a tough job trying this stuff. Do we want to crack it open? And
Yeah, let's just break straight into it.
let's see what it tastes like. Come
Let's
on.
dive in.
That is sensational. I'm overlooking Mount Fuji and I've roasted some green tea on a fire and I'm looking at the mountain. It's going pink in the sunset and the nuts are just overpowering.
It just has this sort of depth and warmth to it that sort of isn't normally there in your sort of, dare I say it, everyday green tea, is it?
Yeah.
It's just the way that it combines really well with that toasted golden chocolate.
You do get a green tea hint towards the end, don't you? You get the roasted, the nutty flavor, but towards the end, you get that definite match of kind of, that immediately transports you to a tea ceremony in Japan, overlooking Mount Fuji, and the sky is pink and beautiful.
Exactly.
And then the volcano goes off.
Well, fingers crossed, not while anyone's there.
I mean, it is roasted. So obviously, Paul, this whole calendar is inspired by our local environment, which is Notting Hill, and which we think is one of the greatest urban environments in the world. It's beautiful with all the gardens. And we've selected here number 9, which is Notting Hill Station. And we have a black sesame. So, Paul, do you want to talk us through the black sesame?
So for this black sesame chocolate, what we're actually doing is we're making our own in-house praline. So we just heat the sesame seeds up a little bit to get a little bit of extra flavor into them. Then we make a caramel separately. And then when the caramel hits the right color, we sort of mix the sesame seeds through, pour it out to let it cool down and solidify.
Wow, well, that sounds pretty tasty. Why don't we try and open Notting Hill Station and have some black sesame? There we go. So there's the sesame.
So there you see, we've got
Yeah.
this lovely, you can see it's a mixture of that sesame praline that's been ground down in the mélange, mixed with a lovely chocolate.
It's not going to give me London Underground vibes, is it? All this dark sesame, because of course it is the station, right?
I hope that gives you sort of the nice side of dark, shall we say.
Okay, well, let's see. So let's taste the black sesame, number 9, which represents Notting Hill Station.
Enjoy.
Cheers. I immediately get really strong nut, actually. Then it's kind of like a tahini and sugar, crunchy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get a lovely, that lovely toasted flavour coming through.
Yeah,
for me,
that-
just giving me. Then there's some slight caramelly notes. You know, that's one of the lovely things about the praline. A lot of people think that they has to be made with a nut, but it can be made with anything that's got its own high level of internal oils that when you grind it down with the caramel will break down into a paste.
Yeah, I got waves of sort of nutty sesame, caramelized sugar. It was like a surfing, a wave in Japan again. So we're in Notting Hill. We're in the station of Notting Hill, but we're dreaming of a beach in Japan. Number 15, which is Lansdown Crescent. Let's find out what we've got. And we've got gingerbread caramel.
Yeah.
And it says, in every adult is hidden a child, Paul, who wants to play. You think that's an accurate?
I mean, it's accurate. In some of us, it's not quite so hidden. It's pretty obvious out and about. But yeah, look, we talk, to get really deep, we talk about play as a great way of learning when we're younger. And even as adults, you look at our activities, we're wanting to enjoy ourselves and play and do something a bit different to what we do from the day to day.
Yeah, so with gingerbread, because we wanted some traditional English flavors in the calendar, we are in Notting Hill, and you can't really have Christmas without gingerbread, can you? We can now imagine that we've got Hansel and Gretel in the woods of Lansdown Gardens, and they're playing there, and they've got a little gingerbread house, and is there a witch in a gingerbread house?
I mean, potentially, or just a misunderstood woman.
Okay, we've got a misunderstood witch, and we've got Hansel and Gretel in there, and we're going to taste a bit of the gingerbread flavor and see if we've captured that wonderful childlike gingerbread. I think the witch is going to be super happy with that concoction.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She's been grinding that on a little pot. So we've got Hansel and Gretel in a gingerbread house in Lansdown, Crescent, because there are lots of trees. You know, it's very wooded.
Yeah.
You know, they could have been there in a little gingerbread house.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. And I mean, it was a wood, wasn't it? Notting Hill, coming from a knut, which means a type of wood. And the Hansel and Gretel were going around. So we better try the gingerbread caramel.
Let's dig in.
That is sensational.